In order to graph these inequalities, the first thing we need to know is that when you have a plain less than or a plain greater than symbol, notice they're not underlined, that the way that we indicate that on a graph is to use an open dot. It means we're leaving that number out, like taking that point out. And if you see the symbol less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, in other words, you see the underline, that's going to be signified with a closed dot. Okay, so let's start there. For each one of these, I'm going to jump around just a little bit to emphasize that point. That one is plain less than. So I'm going to come up here, and here at -1, I want to put an open dot. Okay, then for this one, it's not underlined, so at 2, I'm going to put an open dot. For this one, it's underlined, so I'm using a closed dot, and I'm going to place that at 3. And then this one, again, it's underlined, so I'm going to put a closed dot and place that one at -2. Next, I have to decide which direction to put the arrow. There's a couple ways to do this, but let's first start with reminding ourselves which symbol is which. When I have this symbol here and I open it up, it makes the letter L. So this one says L less than. So my numbers are less than -1. If your numbers are smaller than -1, on a number line, as you move to the right, numbers get bigger, and as you move to the left, numbers get smaller. So if your numbers are smaller than, less than -1, then that means we're talking about numbers this direction. So every single number to the left of -1 is smaller than -1, but the number -1 is not smaller than -1, which is why we put that open dot to leave it out. Okay, this one here, when I open up that inequality symbol, it does not make the letter L. So since it does not make the letter L, that stands for greater than. If our numbers are greater than 2, that means our numbers are bigger than 2. And numbers that are bigger than 2 are going to be this direction. So this graph is indicating every number that makes this true. Every number to the right of 2 is bigger than 2, and I'm leaving out the number 2 by putting that open dot, like plucked out that point. Okay, here we have our symbol is underlined, but when you open up that symbol, it makes the letter L. So this says less than or equal to. Our numbers are less than or equal to 3. In other words, they're smaller than or equal to 3. And numbers that are smaller than 3 are to the left. So this graph indicates every number to the left of 3 makes this true, and it's a solid dot to indicate that the number itself, 3, also makes it true. Okay, this last one here, this symbol again, when I open it up, it does not make the letter L, so it's not less than, it's greater than. So our numbers are greater than or equal to -2, and numbers that are bigger are to the right on the number line. So going this direction, these numbers are bigger than -2 or equal to -2, so that's why I've got my solid dot. A quick shortcut that only works when the variable is on the left side. So notice in every one of these M, B, A, G, they're all on the left-hand side. But if that's the case, you can visualize this symbol as an arrow. If I had, this symbol here, let's just make one really quick. If I have this symbol and then I create an arrow with it, this symbol here is pointing to the left. This symbol here, if I open it up this way and I make an arrow out of it, it's pointing to the right. So you can quickly go through and just say, oh, no underlines, open dots. The arrow is pointing to the left. The arrow is pointing to the right. But just please be careful if you use that shortcut, because it only works when your variable is written on the left-hand side.